President. How everybody doing today? So I'm gonna keep my report, short, thanks to Phil. So for spring intersection maintenance, custodial staff will do a deep clean for the office carpets, restrooms, hallway floors, while maintenance will complete classroom repairs, including replacing air filters. There has been an increase for the bird flu. I guess that's been going around, so maintenance had raised concerns for the droppings on the school ground. The maintenance team did clean the track for Coolidge, and they will install a solar pulsating light, and then they'll put up some coyote decoys to keep the geese away. Coolidge preparations, the department has been cleaning old classrooms in the former library to prepare for summer work on the old 8th grade side while still managing regular maintenance tasks. Building updates for Taft, a rooftop unit motor is down. It's awaiting replacement. For Coolidge, a ceiling unit ventilator needs a new bearing, but that order has been placed. For the Bogan intercom and clock system, the district's field believes it's becoming obsolete, so options to replace that are now currently being explored. And then for school mapping for emergencies, Taft and Coolidge are part of a Cook County grant for detailed building mapping aid for first responders. And Eisenhower and Madison will be added soon. I just don't know the time frame on that, but once it do, I will let you all know. Phil, did I miss anything? Good?
I think you hit it all.
That's my report.
Beautiful. Okay, thank you. Any questions, board members? Okay, moving right along. We have our Finance Committee. Ms. Corrine Davis is the chair of our Finance Committee. I'll turn it over to Ms. Davis at this time. Ms. Davis.
Thank you, Madam President. A resolution to withdraw from Thornton Township Treasurer's Office is on the agenda for later on. We've already discussed it, but outside of that, do you have anything?
It's also the other resolution too about treasurer.
Yes, the
Two
two.
resolutions.
Two resolutions that we discussed earlier.
Because if we do the withdrawal, then we'll have to appoint the treasurer. Any questions? Thank you. Any questions, board members? Personnel and Awards Public Relations, Ms. Jodie Boykin is the chair of that committee. I'll turn it over to Ms. Boykin at this time. Ms. Boykin?
Good evening, each and every one of you. We will have personnel items later on in the meeting. However, our students Bradley and Phil bring us some public relations updates.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I just have a couple of things to put in your box before I get started. The buy and also invitation. Coolidge had a great math and science night, and you see that front page it was wonderful. The kids had a great time. I'm sure that's something that Mrs. Bush talked about. On March the 25th, you'll get an invitation. We are having a celebration for someone who's on the board, who has been on the board. You have to guess who this person is. She has been on the board for 30 years. Any guesses? So we will have a celebration at Madison School on the 25th, 5 until 7:30. So we are hoping that your schedule is clear. It is a Tuesday night. We're going to start on time, and I think that she is well deserving to be celebrated, to be able to help this school district grow. I know my kids have gone through it with Mrs. Burton, serving on different roles on the board, and so I think it's wonderful if we can all be there to celebrate that. That is the biggest highlight that's coming up in March. Do you have any questions for me?
Outside of saying congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
With that Stephanie said everybody should mark their calendar for that date and that event, and that ends my report.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I am truly excited, if I can say a few words. I am truly excited. And Ms. Bradley, you're right. I've served on every position, every committee of the board. I've served as board secretary 2 or 3 times, vice president 2 or 3 times, president 3 or 4 times. So this is not my first rodeo on any of it, but I am blessed, truly blessed to be amongst you and amongst this great team, because as Dr. King said, everybody can be great because everybody can serve. And it doesn't matter what position you have on this board. If you're one of 7, you can serve. And so I feel so good to be amongst these fine men and women. And I hope to continue. Thank you so much, and I'm honored to be honored for my 30 years of service. Thank you. Moving right along, policy. Mrs. Shane is the chair of our policy committee, and I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Shane. Ms. Shane?
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to defer this to our committee member of the policy committee,
Okay.
Mrs. Turner.
Okay. Ms. Turner?
Oh, okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Board over policy, press policy 117, it was included in our third read for tonight. There were some changes that was made, and some changes that were, supposed to be put in the third read. So tonight we go over the third read, and that will be the end, I believe, of the reading of the policies that will be last round. And then we'll conclude. That's the end of our report.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Turner. Thank you. It's our report, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Negotiations, Mrs. Loretta Wells is the chair of our negotiations committee, and I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Wells at this time. Ms. Wells?
Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you.
I will be short. We met for our second negotiation meeting on the 27th of February, and our next meeting will be March 19th at Madison School at 6 o'clock p.m. And I would like for all board members to put that on your calendar, and we'll see you there. That ends my report.
Thank you. Goals, Ms. Turner. Michelle Turner is the chair of the Goals Committee, and I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Turner at this time. Ms. Turner?
Good evening again.
Good evening.
Report.
We have a Curriculum and Technology Committee. Ms. Cynthia Shane is the chair of that committee, and I'll turn it over to Ms. Shane at this time. Ms. Shane?
Thank you, Madam President. Mrs. Varner.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm going to be brief today because these young people have a state test tomorrow, so I'm going to make sure we can get everybody home.
Thank you.
So we opened up the state test at Eisenhower today. As I stated at the last meeting, they changed the platform. So to make sure it was stable, we used Eisenhower as kind of our guinea pig. Everything ran fine today, so we are going to be opening up at Eisenhower, Madison, and Coolidge tomorrow morning. So again, I'm going to be brief today, so that way these guys can go home and get some sleep, because I will see them on the 8th grade floor tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Varner. Mr. Roth, you have something for technology?
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
I have 3 things that I wanted to share with you. The first one is about PowerSchool that we discussed at the last meeting. They have started notifying staff and parents about the breach and offering credit monitoring options. But I did want to mention this because they are notifying parents and families as well. So if there's any questions, even though PowerSchool is taking charge, we're happy to help parents have questions, staff has questions, they can come to us. We can advise them or at least let them know what information might be out there. The second thing, our smart TVs that we were attempting to not just recycle, but find people to use. We did have one tech office from Eisenhower Cooperative pick up 3 of them. They are large, heavy, big TVs, and most places just said that they weren't able to handle it. So today we had recycling, our South Holland company pick up the rest of them. At least we didn't put them in the trash, so we reused or recycled.
Thank you.
Lastly, we have finished up our E-rate for this next year. We're going to be replacing some equipment in our district office that handles all of our buildings internet. This is our 5th year of our 5-year cycle, so we're using up the remaining amount of funds, which is about $18,000 of E-rate money, which we're responsible for only 15% of that. And that's everything I have to share.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ross. Madam President, that concludes our report.
Thank you. IASB Governing Board, Mrs. Shane, back to you.
It's me again.
It is.
All right, the only thing I wanted to remind the board of is the ISB South Cook Division meeting, which will be held on Thursday, March 13th at 5:30 is registration, and it'll be at the Doubletree in Nelson. So I look forward to seeing you each there. I hope that you can attend. And that concludes my report, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Scope, Ms. Davis.
Thank you, Madam President. So the focus of the last meeting was really talking about the uncertainty that's being caused by the new federal administration. And so the person who is over advocacy and governance for the AASA, which is the superintendent organization, shared information with us about what they see on the horizon. Of course, there's the talk, and then there's what they think will actually happen in the short term, and then what may happen in the long term. So her discussion was largely that some of the things that have been put out are not likely to happen in the short term. So for example, they are not likely to cut or eliminate Title I, which is some of the funds that we use, or the special education funds. But there is a push to move those funds out of the Department of Education and put them into the Department of Health and Human Services. So that is something that she thought could actually happen. And so there is a high likelihood that the Department of Education will either go away or be reduced to a level where it's not in charge of almost anything. That being said, she thought based on what they're seeing at this point, that the most drastic cuts are not likely to be made anytime soon, specifically the special education funds and the Title I funds. But that they are, of course, monitoring that. And then the other thing that she said is that what they're seeing a lot of, and they anticipate will happen in one form or another, is a lot of proposals to move a lot of the decision making back to the states and the local school districts. What that does is it takes the pressure off of having a Department of Education, and also, quite honestly, can pass along the blame for any reductions in funds from the federal government to what the states choose to do. So of course, they are actively working with people and lobbying and things like that. So her main message was, don't assume that everything that gets talked about is actually going to get done. Likely the most extreme things won't get done, but that we can expect that there will be a significant shift from the federal government to the state and local areas and school districts. And that's something that they will be monitoring as we go through this time and as we prepare for to really go through the budget season.
Any questions, board members? Thanks for sharing that. Thanks, Dr. Thanks, Ms. Meetings and events, Ms. Shane, our board secretary.
Thank you, Madam President. Wednesday, March 19th, negotiation meeting, Madison at 6 p.m. Tuesday, March 25th, Mrs. Burton's 30th anniversary celebration, Madison, 5 p.m. Wednesday, March 26th. Family Science Night, Eisenhower at 5:30 p.m. Thursday, negotiation meeting again, Madison School at 6 p.m. March 31st through April the 4th, Monday through Friday, spring break, no school. Monday, April 7th, Committee of the Whole at 6:30, regular board meeting, 7 o'clock. Tuesday through Friday, April 8th through the 11th, intercession instruction. Wednesday, April 16th, negotiation meeting, Madison School, 6 p.m. Friday, Friday, April 18th, Good Friday, no school. Madam Chair, Madam President, that concludes my report. Thank you.
Do we have the NSBA trip here
No.
for April?
No.
Is there a reason why it's not?
I just said put it But we do have members going,
It should be listed on.
and will
It was
that
just
be?
an oversight. And I'll just state that the National School Board Association conference will be held in Atlanta, and from the 3rd until the 7th, Sunday the 7th. So the 3rd is a Thursday, and it ends at Sunday. And many of us are
So that would be
attending.
Sunday the 6th.
The 6th, okay, right, because we'll be flying back the 7th. Right. So it's
So
from Thursday.
will we have, do we anticipate having a quorum on April 7th?
Exactly.
I'll be here.
That's one, all right?
Okay.
I'll be here.
That's two, okay. What time do I play it is? I'll be here. Come back on the Sunday.
I'll be here.
That's
3.
all right, that's four.
Boy, can you be here?
And hopefully more, but, okay, just making sure, because April, when you have some, statutory things that we have to look at.
Right.
I'm not going. Miss Shane is going. I think Miss Shane is going. His boyfriend is Okay.
Okay, thank you, just double checking.
Just double checking, and it should be on public comment anytime we do have a conference. It should be on public content.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, we did that. Communications and correspondence. Do we have any, Ms. Shane?
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
Madam President. And this is from the district to invited guests. On behalf of the South Holland School District 151 Board of Education and Administration, we are delighted to invite you to a 30th anniversary celebration honoring our school board member president, Mrs. Patrice Burton, for 30 years of service to the South Holland School District 151 community. Mrs. Burton has served tirelessly on our school board since 1995. We would like to take this time to express our gratitude and recognize her dedicated years of service. In her honor, we are hosting a reception on Tuesday, March 25th, 2025, from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Madison School located at 15700 Orchid Drive, South Holland, Illinois. The reception will include tributes, dinner, and live entertainment. We look forward to seeing you at this celebration. Please RSVP to Mrs. Kamala McDade at 708-339-1516 or email her at her email address by March 18th. Sincerely, Dr. Teresa D. Hill and the school board, South Holland School Board District 151. Thank you. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, enrollment report. Mrs. Turner.
Thank you. Enrollment report for, Coolidge has 461 students, Eisenhower has 276 students, Madison has 284 students, Taft pre-K has 333 students, which is I'm so sorry. which is a grand total of 1,354 students. And that's the environment.
Thank you. Personnel, I'll turn this over to Ms. Boykin. Ms. Boykin?
Thank you. Personnel updates. Hirees, we have Melissa Rodriguez, paraprofessional at Eisenhower, effective February 19, 2025. We have Hilda Costello, paraprofessional at Eisenhower, effective March 4, 2025. I'd like to make a recommendation that we accept these two for hiring. Second.
Did Mr. Clark, did you motion? Motion by Mr. Clark, second by Ms.
It was motion by, what, second by Ms. Clark? No, I made just the recommendation.
Yeah, Clark made the motion. Motion by Mr. Clark, second by Ms. Davis. Roll call, please.
Ms. Boykin,
Yes.
Mrs. Burton,
Yes.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Ms. Shane,
Yes.
Mrs. Turner,
Yes.
Mrs. Ware.
Yes.
We have resignation. John Harwood, teacher at Coolidge, effective June 16, 2025. We have Terrell Rogan, paraprofessional at Coolidge, effective February 14, 2025. And we have Megan Dion, library manager, Madison, effective February 28, 2025. I'd like to make a recommendation that we accept these resignations.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Shane, second by Ms. Turner. Roll call, please.
Ms. Boykin,
Yes.
Mrs. Burton,
Yes.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Ms. Shane,
Yes.
Mrs. Turner,
Yes.
Mrs. Ware.
Yes.
Thank you. Out-of-state field trip, Class C swap college tour.
Yes, I'm going to invite Ms. Latoya Crowder, Mr. Roy Reese, who are lead sponsors for Class and C-Swap, and they have with them one of the members of each group, and they will share information about the planned college tour, which would take place during the intercession week from April 7th through the 11th. And allow our students to tour colleges in Tennessee and Georgia, as well as some additional special activities. So I will turn it over to them.
Hi.
Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Latoya Crowder, and I'm one of the mentors for class.
Mr. Reese again, C-Swap,
On behalf of C-Swap and class, we'd like to thank you all for everything you do for our program. We appreciate it tremendously. As Dr. Hill said, during intercession, we'll travel to Nashville, Tennessee, as well as Atlanta, Georgia, to visit Tennessee State University, as well as Park, Atlanta. We also will attend the King Center, and we're going to go to the National Museum of African American Music. During that time, we'll have a lot of supervision. The trip is paid for by every student, and they don't have to come out of their pocket for anything. We're going to provide all the meals, and they'll receive 5 t-shirts. That way, each day we can all be in uniform together, and it will help with the safety, just being able to recognize our students everywhere we go. We can just be in uniform. Again, we thank you so much for that, and we appreciate everything you all do for us.
Thank you. Mrs. Turner.
Yes. Okay, the travel by bus, we added the copy of the itinerary, which is under administrative content.
I see that.
We need to let the whole public know exactly where our kids would be at any given time.
Right. But
So
we got it.
you can
Thank
see
you.
that information there. Ms. Crowder, how many students are we taking from each group?
We have about 45 students there.
Oh, wonderful.
Oh, a total of 45? And how many chaperones do you have?
10.
Oh,
That's good. So are you going to the game? The Atlanta Braves game? I said TBD. So is that are you going?
Yes.
Okay, great.
beautiful, beautiful. Any other questions, board members?
I have one other question.
Yes.
Did some students need assistance with,
The trip is paid for every student.
Sorry?
The trip is paid for every student, so they don't have to come out of pocket.
okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Y'all been seeing 2 fountains, that's it.
just me too.
Can you speak briefly, just so that the board is aware, because they may not be, can you speak to what the students had to do to be able to qualify to participate in this?
So in order for students to actually go on the scholarship, they had to maintain the GPA 2.0 as well as the SEPSI average of 2.0, as well as follow all school rules, no suspensions or anything of that sort. Also, the latest class we did an HBCU experience where we actually researched different colleges across the world, just giving them some background knowledge of things to look for and ask for once we actually attend the college, so that they're not just blindsided. And we could have started a conversation about college and not too early. So I think it's a great opportunity that we're doing this back research, which we're getting it going in the 7th and 8th grade.
In the same seesaw, we had requirements as far as the grading step sheet, and we had a point system within our group. That certain boys had a certain amount of points throughout the year, and leading the attendance, and boys that met the requirement, like the boys trip. And we had run it through the whole, probably since September, to remember the trip on the board, kept it, running throughout.
Wonderful.
So there's one bus?
It's not a school bus. No.
No, I know, but still, one bus. 45, how many does the bus fit?
I believe it's 69.
Oh, okay, all right.
It's a nice.
Yeah, Charlie, I mean, yes.
And just to say that this is, we have been able to do this with and through some of our grant funds the last couple of years. We do prioritize it because we want the students to have these kinds of experiences and know what some of their possibilities are for the future, which is why we continue to try to do these kinds of things with our students. Our sponsors, of course, they are participating, they are giving of their time. As they will tell you, they don't get to sleep. It's certainly not a vacation for them. But they are giving of themselves and their time to make sure that the kids get to have this kind of experience and carry that forward. Would you all like to introduce our students? I know we met who won,
Julian.
but if we can introduce our students or have them introduce themselves, either way.
I did
Say
not
it
hear.
real loud.
Yes.
My name is Janine.
Denia Haynes, okay.
Nice to meet you.
I'm in 8th grade.
8th grade?
Pleased to meet you.
Would you introduce yourself again to us?
Good evening. My name is Julian Hayden.
Very good. Very good. Thank you so much for bringing them.
Wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
It is.
So with that, we are hoping that the board will approve their trip as they will be traveling out of state. And our sponsors have already been working with parents, gathering the information. We do have some additional precautions this year, given what's going on in our nation. So we do have copies of, for example, the birth certificates of all of our students that will be traveling with us. And we will be taking those extra precautions to make sure that our students are safe throughout the trip.
Thank you. Any other questions, board members? If not, may I have a motion to approve the Class C Swap College Tour from April 7th through the 11th, 2025?
Second.
Moved by Ms. Shane, second by Ms. Davis. Roll call, please.
Ms. Boykin? Yes. Mrs. Burke?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Shannon?
Yes.
Mrs. Turner?
Yes.
Mrs. Webb?
Yes.
And before we move on, thank you to our students, thank you to our teacher and counselor. Now is your time to make it a nice exit so that you'll be ready bright and early for testing.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, thank you.
Thank you for coming. Congratulations. Agenda item 10C, This is the resolution approving the complete withdrawal from the jurisdiction and authority of the Thornton Township Trustees of Schools and Township Treasurer effective July 1st, 2025. We do have recommendations from Mr. Clark, from our superintendent, and if we so choose, I'd like to have a motion to adopt the resolution approving the complete withdrawal from the jurisdiction and authority of the Thornton Township Trustees of Schools and Township Treasurer effective July 1st, 2025.
So moved.
Second? No. Moved by Ms. Davis. You want it, Ms. Wells. Second by Ms. Wells. Roll call, please.
Ms. Boykin? No. Mrs. Burton?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
No.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Shane?
No.
Mrs. Turner?
No.
And Mrs. Wells?
Yes.
Could I say something? As I suggested before that, some of us just need a little bit more time to digest this and look it over. I don't think it's something that we can decide on in a haste.
I think the years that we've done it, Ms. Shane, has been haste, but the board has spoken, so we can move on. No need for agenda item D. Agenda item E, South Holland School District Board Policy Manual, third reading and adoption. May I have a motion?
Something.
Second.
You second Mrs. Wells?
Yes. Who motion? Ms. Shane. Moved by Ms. Shane, second by Ms. Wells. Roll call, please.
Ms. Boykin? Yes. Mrs. Burton?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mrs. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Shane?
Yes.
Mrs. Turner?
Yes.
And Mrs. Wells?
Yes.
Agenda item 11A, administrative reports. Mr. Clark, anything else to add? Mr. Clark, anything else to
Anything to
add?
add to your report?
Okay, thank you. Mr. Neal, anything to add to your report?
No.
Thank you. Taft School, Ms. Wilson is,
Ms. Wilson is out sick, and Mr. Kalinsky is
Okay.
out sick as well. Yes, it's been going on. And Dr. Anderson is out sick as well.
Dr. McNair from Madison School, anything else
Just
to
getting ready to
add?
IR, all the anticipation and anxiety, but we're going to triumph. And Mrs. Varner kind of alluded to it, but we're ready for it. We are ready for it.
Thank you. And Ms. Rush from Coolidge.
Just wanted to say, again, thank you for your continued support of everything that you do for our students and our teachers. And we wanted to make sure that we kind of put a little on display for you guys, our chairs and scoreboard, to let you see that we are actually doing something with a lot of the funds that we've received. So I want to say thank you for that, and also just to let you know, Ms. Burton, and we actually acknowledge you at our Black History program.
Thank you so
on
much.
Friday, because our Black History program was celebrating the African American woman.
Yes.
And so all of you will know, we did acknowledge all of our school board members
Yes, you
at
did.
our program. The pictures were displayed of celebrating women in education and supporting education. So all of your pictures were displayed for our families and our student body. And then we did acknowledge Ms. Burton with 30 roses for 30 years.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Ben, we love you too, but we did want to make sure we acknowledged all of the women, especially since we're transitioning into women history month. So
That's fine.
that was.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Okay. Okay. Technology, Mr. Roth, anything else to add?
No, thank you.
Okay. Dr. Anderson, we've got a report if we do need something. Okay, Ms. Varner, anything else to add?
Just really quick, I put in an update as I promised for reporting purposes for our school improvement plan. So that first report regarding mathematics actually came from MCMI, who we're using as our math coaching support. And so that report was actually derived between me and the 4 coaches that we have and the head of that program. So I wanted you to have an update at this time.
Thank you. Arts and enrichment, Mr. Moody, anything to add?
Not at this time.
Well, thank you for your participation, and we do see your report if we have any questions. Community and public relations, Ms. Bradley,
No, nothing to add.
thank you. Superintendent report, Dr. Hill.
Just very, very briefly, we did not have any FOIA requests since last month. And just a reminder, because time flies.
Yes.
After the May Board of Education meeting, that is when we will have our annual award celebration. We will be at the Serbian Center once again. So just a reminder that is the meeting that we have early so that we can get to that celebration. So I just want to put that on your minds as we get closer to it.
And what date is that, May?
That is
May 7th?
May 5th.
May 5th?
Yeah, single day night. Yes, we
May 5th?
meet at 5:30.
Okay.
That will be on May 5th.
Okay. Okay. Very good. Thank you so much. Agenda item 12, questions from the floor. Any person wishing to speak on any item not on the agenda will be granted 5 minutes to make his or her presentation. Do we have anyone? Hey, thank you. If there's no further business to come before the board, the meeting is adjourned. May we have a motion for adjournment? Second. Moved by Ms. Boykin, second by Ms. Shane. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Board meeting adjourned. Thank you.
And board members, please remember, Mrs. Rush and her team have provided some sandwiches and snacks and things. And if you would like, we got gold plates and everything. So please do help yourself and feel free.
This is tasty, and I'll let you know.
I already passed the paper.